My name is Columbo. I'm OHSU's social media manager. I'm going to talk about mistakes, namely the biggest one I have ever made in my entire career. But first, the small print. I'm here as myself, not as my institution. Number two, I'm here to talk about social media specifically and not about any other part of this insane campaign. Three, we're going to talk about our feelings, and that might make people feel uncomfortable in a tech sector, but I think it's really, really important. That's the nut of the nut. That's what we do, is human to human. And the biggest mistake I have ever made as a professional is forgetting that there was a human on the other side of the keyboard. Right? That's very easy to do as digital marketers, especially in higher ed, healthcare, nonprofit, government, these kind of corporations where we don't honor the human experience on the other side of the device. Dr. Brian Drucker is the head of the OHSU Unite Cancer Institute. He's a phenomenal scientist and physician. He's one of the godfathers of precision or personalized medicine. The idea that we can go after your sick cells without hurting your healthy ones in terms of cancer. He and his team, back in the day, developed a drug called Gleevec that essentially cured one type of cancer. It took the survival rate for one type called chronic myeloid leukemia, CML, the survival rate from 40% to 90%, something that had never been done before. Fast forward to 2013, Phil and Penny Knight, who love us, say, we'll give you $500 million, OHSU, if you match that in 2 years. It usually takes us 8 years to raise that kind of money, so we knew we had to go big and bold. Enter the One Down campaign. When the world asked, why would OHSU be the ones to cure cancer? It would be because the CML community, right? They were the proof point for the entire campaign. The people still living and breathing with CML were the reason that OHSU could do it, and could do it again. It turns out when you make a claim around curing cancer, and the people that are still living and dying with it don't resonate with that, they will come out in droves against your campaign. Within 24 hours of me making that claim on Facebook, hundreds of people campaigned against us. Hashtag #TakeDownOneDown was trending. There were Huffington Post blogs, there were calls to the institution and emails. It was the worst crisis I have ever had, and they were right. Getting called into the OHSU president's office is like this on steroids, right? They said, Jess, this little thing that's happening on Facebook is going to make us shut down the entire campaign. Because not only is your core constituency not with you, they are actively against you. And if the proof point to the entire campaign doesn't say you're right, what do we have to stand on? We had to say we were sorry, and we had to say it fast. Right here. There must be a disconnect between the marketing team and Drucker. Heck yes, there was. This had nothing to do with the science and everything to do with my hyperbole in the social space, and it wasn't cool. We had to make changes right away, and they live covered every edit we made to our web copy in real time. We deprioritized the word cure immediately, and they held us accountable to that. Good for them. I had this wild hair. I said, Drucker, when you're not busy curing cancer, can you reach out to the 10 most pissed off people? Call them and say, I'm so sorry, you are their God. Say, I need you with us. He did it. It turned the entire campaign around in 1 hour. I spent the next 3 days individually responding to 800 comments across the internet. I did not cut and paste once. And what I said was, 1, I am so sorry. 2, I hear you. 3, I'm going to make it better for you. That's all we want, is somebody to say, I hear you, and I validate your experience. That's it. I stewarded those relationships for the rest of the campaign because you can't quit on somebody. And a lot of them wanted me to take down the launch copy, and I won't do it because the transparency makes us better. I messed up, and I'm not going to hide that. The rest of the campaign, we developed a content strategy around, about, for the CML community. Doug was in the second clinical trial ever of Gleevec, and I was honored to be there in the room when he welcomed his great-grandson into the world named Doug. There are a lot of ways that we goof up as marketers. We make assumptions about other people's experiences. We don't say sorry when we should, and we give up on each other. This wasn't a launch. This was a relationship, and I needed to be invested in that. Spoiler alert, we met the match. Thank you. 70% of donations came from this state. I have never been more proud to call myself an Oregonian, although I'm from Vancouver, Washington. What we're going to do with that money is recruit 30 to 40 of the top scientists in the world to come here to Oregon and develop more life-saving treatments to change the world. Instead of applying for grant money, they're going to be in the lab doing the work. And that's badass. making mistakes, but he also said that even in his time, it was appallingly obvious that our technology was surpassing our humanity. If there's anything I can ask of you tonight, it's that you remember there's a human on the other side of the keyboard. That you make more mistakes, but that you own them. You talk about them publicly, and you do better for one another every single time.